Ahead at 9, the latest round of storms hitting Southern California. More rain, more snow, and tens of thousands of people remain in the dark with no heat. We're live.
We are doing something weather-wise that Southern California has not done in more than a century. Find out what it is and when the weather's going to change coming up.
Jackie and Shadow, they have fans across the country. The Big Bear Eagles have been nesting their 2 eggs for about 6 weeks now, but it looks like they won't be welcoming new eaglets anytime soon.
How many college professors are watching what they say out of fear they could be canceled? A new survey may surprise you.
This is Kcal News Mornings.
Good morning. You're watching Kcal News Mornings at 9. Taking a live look. I believe that's Malibu, and you see the cloud cover there over the ocean. Beautiful. Today is Tuesday, February 28th, the last day of February.
Here's a look at the Hollywood sign now. You know, it was so interesting to see snow on it last week. All those little grapple. It was really grapple, right? It wasn't like
it was
real
something
snow.
that wasn't rain.
Yes. Yeah. I'm Jamie Hukin. Paul, Kalina, both with us today as well.
I'm Ruta Shabazi.
Oh, did you never say your name?
Ruta Bay's here too.
Hey, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And we have crazy weather coming back.
Yes, we
None
do.
of us now know
We
what to
have
do.
potholes all over the roads.
We do have potholes. I have some good news, though.
Oh, you do?
A little tease. Tell you about that in
that's
just
good.
a second.
Oh, good. We like good news.
I have not so good news.
Okay,
No.
great.
We're not done.
But it's nice right now.
We have now. Yes, we have now.
All we
Yeah.
have is now.
It's looking pretty good right now, and enjoy it for the next couple hours. We have one more round of rainfall. I know you're probably tired of it, the cold, the wind, the rain. Not much of it right now. We've got some sunshine currently. High temperatures today will still be 10, 15, even 17 degrees colder than average. Mid-50s LA, Burbank, Van Nuys. Mid-50s Santa Clarita. Only 51 San Bernardino, Temecula 54, Laguna Beach 54 degrees. If you look at the past 7 days, you would think, hey, it's been a while since we've been this cold for this long. Average high, 53.8 degrees. That is cold for us. The normal is close to 70. You have to go back 110 years the last time that we had a week in late winter this cold in Los Angeles. 1913 was the last time that we've had a stretch of weather like this in the month of February. We look outside, the Hollywood sign, which did have, yes, some hail around it last week. We're not going to see the snow level drop that low today, but it will be down to 2,500 feet. Riverside, 50 degrees. We'll look at the storm that is pummeling the Bay Area right now. That will work its way south. More rain, more mountain snowfall, and areas in Southern California that are cut off because of too much snow. We'll get more snow tonight, anywhere from 6 to 24 inches of new snow in the mountains above 3,000 feet. Kind of crazy. Places are cut off because of snow in Southern California. We'll check the roads in the valleys and the metro area with Kalina right now.
Hey, good morning. So some of the pothole problems we've had earlier all cleared up. So that's the good news. Also good news is the crash we had on the 101, that's gone. Also the problem we had on the 405, long gone as well. Now you're just dealing with slowing through that area. So either way, leave early. Here's a look at LA for you, where you can still see the 10 is slow through Mid-City. We also have this crash reported northbound 405 right at Cherry Avenue. Right lane is blocked off there. It's causing a backup heading into the Long Beach area. So heads up. Also 110 a little slow northbound, about 33-minute commute. Here's a 10 right at Citrus Avenue. This is in the Inland Empire. Lots of cars on the roadway. Happens pretty typical around 9 o'clock in the morning. And we do have traffic building still through the Cajon Pass on the 15 freeway southbound. Jamie, back to you.
All right, Kalina, thank you for that. We got to get to some breaking news now. You can take a look from the air. This is the 13,000 block of West Mulholland Drive in Beverly Crest. You see the fire department on scene there. They're telling us that mud and debris flow is now threatening or has damaged one or more homes. They're trying to assess that right now. It's also compromised at least one utility pole. You can see many firefighters out there. Yeah, you can see the damage too from that mud flow at the home there with all that brick and the mud and debris. Firefighters standing on it right now, taking a look at that. No injuries or anyone reported being trapped. That's the good news. People in homes, though, in that area now being evacuated as a precaution. That's why you see out on the roadway some of those cones set up, trying to get people out. Firefighters all stationed there, walking from home to home, probably telling people about this evacuation. until these issues can be addressed, Mulholland Drive now will be closed to all traffic between Deep Canyon Drive and Coldwater Canyon Avenue. So if you have to go through that area, if you're going through the hills today or you know anyone who lives in that area, just be aware that the situation is unfolding. And that's the concern with all of these storm after storm after storm, is that you would potentially start seeing some of this damage. You know, we get a little clearing, the sun comes out, we think we're going to be okay, and then some of the ground just starts giving way because it's so saturated. With having that next round come in, we'll have to keep an eye on this. But I count so many fire vehicles out there this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least half a dozen on scene right now, assessing the damage and also letting neighbors know what is going on. So we'll keep checking in throughout the morning and make sure to give you the very latest, especially if that road does end up opening up at some point today.
In the meantime, more than 300 senior citizens woke up in the dark again. Power to an apartment complex has been out for days now.
Yeah, Kcal's Cara Finstrom is live in North Hollywood. And Cara, people are concerned here. I mean, days, and it's a senior living facility.
It is, and I did just speak with management here. They say they are talking with LADWP. We have not seen those crews out here yet, but management here says they're talking with them and they hope to have the power restored today. The living units here, they do not have electricity, but there is generator power to the lobbies, the hallways, and the elevators. Still, residents we spoke with here this morning told us they woke up cold.
Too cold. I had to use 4 or 5 blankets because this is too cold in the inside.
Now, overnight, we did see LADWP crews at work here. Residents say their refrigerators, electric stoves not working, and apparently not the fans needed to circulate the hot water system not working either. So that's why they're a little bit colder in there. We were able to go into the apartment of a 77-year-old resident who has candles lit. She's been using hallway outlets to charge her cell phones, and we're also being told that power is being used to charge medical equipment because some of the folks living here need oxygen. Now, fortunately, that backup generator also powering the elevators needed to get many seniors in and out of this building. So back here alive, obviously need to get this fixed sooner rather than later for these folks who do have extra needs. But management tells us they are working with them. Many of them will be down in the lobby area today. There was some warm food down in there in that lobby area yesterday for those that might have needed it. So we'll keep you updated on the situation. But again, the hope is that those crews will be back out here shortly and we'll get this fixed.
Well, we'll keep checking in on you to make sure that happens. Cara, thank you. We do have breaking news now from Caltrans. Let's check in with Chris Holmstrom at the desk.
Yeah, so I want to give you an update right now on the State Route 2. Now, take a look at these images right here. It shows you just how much snow was in this area. So Caltrans just tweeted and said the highway is closed in both directions still. That's from the 210 to Vincent Gulch Road and from State Route 138 through Wrightwood. Now, this storm has really made an impact on this area. In just the last few days, they got 5 to 10 inches of snow. Obviously, the conditions are treacherous. The road closure, it was made Tuesday morning. It's unknown how long it will reopen. As for the ski resort Mountain High, I did check their website. They were supposed to open today as well. They are closed. They're expecting to open tomorrow on March 1st. Of course, roads permitted. But I mean, just because we get all that rain and snow, days later, we're still seeing the effects. Jamie and Rudabeh, back to you.
I feel like we're going to continue to see more as this rain keeps coming. Chris, thank you. Right now, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments in 2 cases challenging President Biden's student loan debt forgiveness program. We want to take a live picture now where dozens of students from across the country camped outside the court to witness the historic arguments over forgiving student loan debt. You can see many there on the steps. So far, Republican-appointed judges on lower courts have blocked the plan. The Biden administration says 26 million people have applied and 16 million have been approved to have up to $20,000 in federal student loans forgiven. The program is estimated to cost $400 billion, though, over 30 years. Voters in Chicago heading to the polls to cast their ballots in the mayoral race. The race for mayor is very crowded. 9 candidates on the ballot. Polling suggests the close race will likely go to an early April runoff between the top 2 vote getters if no candidate wins a majority. Current Mayor Lori Lightfoot is polling in 3rd place. Voters casting their ballot based on a number of pressing issues in the city, with crime and public safety at the top of this list. Many watching this nationally as well to see what will happen.
The White House is giving federal agencies 30 days to delete TikTok from all government-issued mobile devices due to growing concerns about security. The administration says this is a critical step forward in addressing the risks presented by the app to sensitive government data. That's a quote. So why does this matter? Well, the Chinese government holds the key to the app's algorithm, which allows them to manipulate content, and Beijing also maintains the ability to collect user data. The ban follows similar actions from Canada, the European Union, and Taiwan. While this ban does not impact the millions of Americans who have the app, the American Civil Liberties Union says the ban would violate Americans' rights to free speech.
About 100 million Americans use the app, so big deal.
Yeah.
We're learning heartbreaking news about Big Bear's famous eagle couple.
I can't even talk about this one. It's so sad. Kalina's here now to give us an update on Jackie and Shadow and their eaglets.
And I heard you talking about it during one of the commercial breaks. I'm really sorry. We have this update for you. So Jackie and Shadow, we know, have been sharing egg warming duties as they await their 2 eggs to hatch. But now, sadly, we're learning that might not happen. The eggs have been incubating for more than a month. And we have file video here before the storm showing the eagle pair at the nest, and you can see the eggs there. Now, friends of Big Bear Valley now say that the eggs probably won't hatch, but they say it's not because of the storm. It says most eagle eggs hatch within 35 days. It's now been more than 40 days. Organization says it could be that the eggs were not fertilized. And this also happened about a few years ago, too. And again, the organization, they're not blaming the storm. It is saying that eagles can withstand extreme temperatures to keep the eggs warm. There's just no sign of them hatching right now. And friends of Big Bear Valley also say they will wait patiently to watch what happens. And they also say that they learn from nature even through the sadness in their hearts. I know a lot of us have been watching this. Chris Holmstrom has been glued to the
so many
eagle
people.
cam. I know, it's
because
really
of the storm,
sad.
so many people wanted to watch and see what was going on.
And it's just heartbreaking because they were so diligent about it, right? They were so dedicated, and both parents were, watching over those eggs. And
I'm kind of hoping there's just a piece of me that goes, maybe because it got cold, like there's a little pause, and maybe they'll be a little late.
It's close too, right? 35 days, 40 days.
But they're
You
not
never
on the
know.
eggs. That's what makes me worried.
Yeah,
because we saw that video where both of them were standing up in the nest, and they were both together, kind of walking around the nest, looking down at the eggs.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's always hope, right?
I'm keeping hope for
We'll
now
see.
until I'm told otherwise, but it
That's the
happens.
update.
All right.
Thank you, Kalina. It's 9/11 right now, and we are tracking the storm damage across California with trees falling.
More than 2,000 trees falling across the city of Los Angeles. I'm Rick Montanez, live in Valley Village, where we are looking at another cleanup here. We'll explain what the city is dealing with coming up.
If you want warmer weather, you may need to get on a plane and travel, because even when the sunshine comes back, we're going to be chilly. Maybe not Hawaii. What? Maui. Rain, 72 degrees. Actually, still sounds better than what we're going to have today. Miami Beach, there's a good choice. Stop by Prime 112 in the evening after an 84-degree sunny and warm day. And Austin, Texas. In this pattern, Texas has been super warm. The state capital up to a high of 86 today. When are we going to warm up? Like 70? We'll take that. There's a Hollywood sign. Still chilly. Forecast next.
We do have some breaking sports. He says he's ready to go. This is his first year back after being with the Florida Marlins in a while, but he did play with the Dodgers in 2014. So we'll see how Miguel steps up
see
and
how it shakes
does
out.
it. Yep.
All right, well, crews are hard at work removing fallen trees due to the strong winds from the storm.
One of them being in North Hollywood. Kcal News reporter Rick Montanez is live there now. Rick.
And right now, we just learned, actually, the city is dealing with over 2,000 tree emergency-related calls, and there are 30 crews from Streets LA responding. This is one of them. And check out the work they're doing right now to clear this tree. Neighbors tell me it fell over Friday during the height of the rain that night. They say this is an 80-year-old Chinese oak that came crashing down onto a garage and apparently damaged a couple of cars. Streets LA crews blame soil saturation for many of these downed trees, and they say there's a second danger we need to watch for when these trees come crashing down.
That's the biggest thing when the power is out. Usually a lot of people come out. It's best to stay in your home, let water and power come out, make it safe.
You got to watch for those lines. There's also another tree that came down in mid-Wilshire this morning. Check out the destruction from this one. A large eucalyptus tree crushed a Toyota Camry around 4:30 this morning. The tree is blocking Burnside Avenue north of Pico Boulevard. We talked with a witness who helped rescue a man from that car.
Well, I pulled him out with his dog. The tree just collapsed completely, so pulled him out.
So what did he say about after you got him out of the car?
He said thank you, and then one of his cousins came over and picked him up.
Incredible he survived that. Now this large eucalyptus tree we're showing you is from Brentwood. It came down just before midnight right near the Brentwood Country Club. This large tree is blocking Montana Avenue between Centinela and Franklin. The good news at that scene is no homes or cars were damaged. We'll come back here live to North Hollywood here, Valley Village, where you can see these crews working. This is just a couple of examples of what they're dealing with. Again, over 2,000 tree-related calls, these emergency calls right now. Streets LA is responding to those calls, assessing which ones will take priority. They say the top priority will be to clear roads so that emergency crews and traffic can get through, and then they will get through all of the other calls. It could take them days to take care of all of this. And again, they say just be careful around those trees that come down. Reporting live, Rick Montanez, Kcal News.
Can take days to clean up, and as Paul's been talking about, another round of rain on the way. Rick, thank you for that. And Paul, with our next forecast, I know it's not going to be as bad as we've seen, but the ground just can't handle that much more rain.
Yeah, sometimes kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. The heavy lifting of the problems is done. Maybe another inch of rain is all it would take to bring some more trees down. So we will find out over the next 24 hours. I'd love to show you a picture of Malibu. I can show you a tree and some hills, but we also have a lot of cloud cover out there. We do not have widespread rainfall right now. In and around Cerritos, along Norwalk Boulevard, and also Pioneer Boulevard, we are completely dry. There are a few showers up toward the mountains. They are snow showers above 3,500 feet in elevation, but right now we are mainly dry. This is the calmer part of the day. We do have some 50s out there. That's actually warmer than yesterday. Anaheim, good morning to you, 51. Laguna Beach, also 51 degrees. 49 in downtown LA, 50 in Van Nuys, Pasadena 47, and Thousand Oaks 45 degrees. We are going to wrap up the month well above average when it comes to rainfall, and before midnight tonight we'll add to these totals. Downtown LA 38% wetter than average for the month, Palmdale 28% wetter than average, and Burbank 84% wetter than average. We are mainly dry for the next several hours through mid-afternoon. Soaking rainfall. Another half of an inch of rain or more returns this evening and tonight. Huge new problems? No. Exacerbating older problems? Maybe. And the stormy pattern finally will exit. We'll get a prolonged dry break beginning Wednesday afternoon. The storm in Northern California is not heading over Reno and Carson City and moving out. It's another one diving to the south, heading toward us in Southern California tonight. So this afternoon, mainly dry. This evening, 7 o'clock, the rain begins in LA County and Ventura County, pushes to the south and east. I'm going to stop the clock here kind of during the overnight hours, the very beginning of the morning commute. Soggy, soaking rainfall everywhere, but then it quickly moves out. And we're going to see perhaps even some sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. And then a much calmer, much drier pattern will take over. Thursday, we're dry. Friday, we're dry and mostly sunny. First half of the weekend looks partly to mostly sunny as well. The jury is still out as to whether this next storm will make it all the way down here. We could see a few showers, especially in the mountains late on Sunday. But dry weather for a while, and frankly, we need it. 50s today and tomorrow in the metro area. Sunshine, 61 on Thursday, as warm as 66 on Saturday. In our valleys, mid-60s Friday and Saturday. The rainy pattern will end about this time tomorrow. In the Inland Empire, tomorrow's high 47 degrees, so much below average. Friday and Saturday, the sunshine comes back, highs in the 60s. In the high desert, you're going to be windy tonight as well as wet, breezy and wet tomorrow. And at our beaches, we're looking at highs finally making it back to 60 degrees. Who knew it would be such a struggle to make it back to 60? But we do get there by this weekend. That's your forecast.
We have the weekend to look forward to. Thank you.
Always do.
In today's The Lot, a new Marvel series follows the adventures of a young super genius.
Yeah, Suzanne Marquez is here to tell us a little bit about this one, and it's extra special.
It is, and I always love a first. We need to get past the first where everything's the norm, but a first is always a blessing.
Yes.
Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaurs, a new animated series on Disney Plus celebrating Black and brown communities of New York City, featuring the first Black teen superheroine.
Smartest 13-year-old, and now I have a dinosaur.
Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur follows the adventures of 13-year-old super genius Lunella Lafayette and her 10-ton T-Rex Devil Dinosaur. She's managed by her Puerto Rican and Jewish best friend, Casey Calderon.
Casey! OMG! Where are you keeping Clifford? We gotta do this on the DL or my family will freak.
Actress Diamond White voices Moon Girl and says she gets to play the superhero she wished for as a child.
What was it like when you found out you got this role?
Ooh, I was jumping up and down. I was screaming.
I don't know how many years we've been working on it.
Long time.
Lawrence Fishburne and Kim Possible creator Steve Loader have championed this story for years. Both are from Brooklyn, and you may remember Lawrence voiced A Snowy Day, the award-winning story by Ezra Jack Keats.
Wish this day could last forever when it snows.
It is definitely about celebrating and representing, as diverse a community as the Lower East Side is. Listen, this is a labor of love for us. I mean, both Steve and myself love animation from, childhood, grew up in New York.
This one's a fighter.
So you saw Lawrence Fishburne is also a voice in it, and that music you heard was Boyz II Men in A Snowy Day. So if you need a Christmas movie, it's one of my favorites. It's so beautiful.
I was
and
like,
simple.
where have I heard that voice before?
Right? Yeah, beautiful harmonies and just, I loved A Snowy Day, and it was so special. Now we have a TV show that kids can watch and see themselves. I love it.
That's quite an ensemble too.
Yes, superstars.
Superstars for sure. Suzanne, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You can see it on Disney Plus now. And time right now is 9:23. A warning about a popular sugar substitute.
Coming up, a sweetener added to diet products may contribute to strokes, heart attacks, even death. Ugh. What you need to know next.
Live look outside right now at 9:26 this morning. We want to tell you about a new study that found that a zero-calorie sweetener that is popular in keto diets has now been linked to strokes, heart attacks, blood clots, even death. The artificial sweetener called erythritol is often found in diet foods such as stevia, Truvia, and Splenda as a sugar replacement because it does not affect blood glucose levels and does not have any calories. The study found people with existing risk factors for heart disease like diabetes were twice as likely to experience a heart attack or a stroke if they had the highest levels of the sweetener in their blood.
Well, the time right now is 9:26, and mountain communities are dealing with snow levels they haven't seen in decades.
I'm Tina Patel. We are live in San Bernardino, where some drivers are being allowed back up into mountain communities, but the problems they're dealing with the snow still far from over. We'll show you the problems coming ahead.
And let's get away from the mountains and head on to the sandy beaches. We have the list of the best beaches in the U.S. It's out now. Did any from Southern California make the list?
They better. Let's play Stump the Studio right now as I'm shivering in here looking at the beach on air. How much do you guys know about broadcast TV? So on this day in 1983, the final episode of what show aired and made history? A, Happy Days, B, MASH, C, Taxi, or D, The Odd Couple?
My parents watched all these, but I feel like in 1983.
Think about it. You have time. We're going to give you the answer in just a little bit.
We're thinking.
Okay, good.
Really hard.
This is Kcal News Mornings.
Welcome back. This is Kcal News Mornings at 9. We've already cruised all the way to 9:30.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Nope.
All right, well, here's what's happening right now.
We have some breaking news, an update. We're following Kcal over the 13,000 block of West Mulholland Drive and Beverly Crest. We saw, this is a more detailed picture of what we were talking about earlier, mud and debris flow. We didn't have quite as good an angle before. Wow, you can see just how much of that home and the outdoor stoning part of their patio just fell to the ground and made its way down to the street there. At least that home has been damaged.
You can see why there's so much concern when you get this broader perspective of it, because you see it's just so perilous there. All this stone structure is about to fall down onto the street, which is why they've closed the road there.
Yep, that's exactly right. Luckily, no injuries or anyone reported being trapped at this point. People, though, in nearby homes are being evacuated as a precaution, because you can imagine this happened so quickly that now there's probably concern at neighboring homes as to what their structures look like. So Mulholland Drive, that's the street that you see at the bottom of your screen there from where the home is. Mulholland Drive will be closed to all traffic between Deep Canyon Drive and Coldwater Canyon Avenue. And, you know, that's going to take quite a while to assess and get cleaned out of there, because they can't just keep leaving all that hanging. So if you do need to take that route today, I would suggest finding an alternate route. We'll check in with Kalina in a little bit on that as well, and continue to watch this scene, as we know some of the neighbors being evacuated at this point too. Travel to and from Big Bear remains very treacherous. The storm and heavy amount of snow has stranded people in the San Bernardino Mountains.
It almost looks like a scene from a different place,
right?
Not Southern California. People on both sides of Highway 18 have been waiting to get out since Friday. Kcal News reporter Tina Patel is joining us now with a look at the situation. And Tina, we even saw some of those store shelves empty up there and people waiting for so long.
Yeah, I was just talking to a driver who came down from Crestline to go to the NASCAR race this weekend. He couldn't get back up. He thought today was going to be his day because, as you can see, CHP is here. They are now running escorts for people who live up the mountains. But he actually changed his mind about going home after calling his wife.
I thought about going up. Now, I just talked to her a little while ago, and she said, don't even attempt. She said, stay home because there's nowhere you to park the car. And I don't want to leave the car abandoned. I'm worried about somebody breaking into it.
Well, this is the situation in Crestline and the surrounding communities. Several feet of the snow on the ground and more just keeps coming. Gary Walton says he's never seen a storm like this in the 11 years that he's lived in the San Bernardino Mountains. His wife is relying on portable heaters at their home because she can't really get in and out of their street. Now, we've heard a number of people that are in that same situation. Caltrans crews have been working around the clock trying to plow the roads, but even though they've got some of the main ones through town cleared, many of the side ones are still buried. But this morning, there is some progress. Take a look at this. The highways have now cleared enough for trucks carrying groceries and other supplies to come up the mountain. CHP is now running escorts after drivers chain up. Many of the stores and gas stations in the mountain communities were starting to run low on items because the highways have been closed for several days. But at least now it looks like businesses will be able to get their stores restocked and replenished. Now, I do want to say the San Bernardino County has issued a state of emergency that's going to allow them to get some state and federal assistance, because even though we are starting to see the sun here in San Bernardino, it is still a lot of snow up there. There's still more snow in the forecast, and really what CHP is doing is saying they're taking this break in the weather to try to get some people home, try to get some trucks up there, but they want visitors to still stay away because, Jamie and Rutabaga, there's more snow in the forecast expected later today.
Oh, geez. That is so burdensome for so many people. Tina, thank you. You've been there bringing us all the updates. We appreciate your reporting. And more rain means more mud, which means more worries that a mudslide in La Cañada Flint Ridge will keep flowing. The homeowners in the neighborhood say the 40-foot wide river of dirt and debris started coming down on Saturday. One resident showed us this photo of the door that held back mud from flowing into the room where his son was sleeping.
Wow.
2 feet from his little head where he was sleeping, mud is like 3 feet away. It's terrifying. I don't wish this experience on my worst enemy.
2 more homes have been yellow tagged in the neighborhood, meaning they actually have enough damage that access is now limited. Paul?
It's just amazing to see the after effects of a storm that several days later, the snow's still there. Water's still in the ground. We still have a problem, even though the long-range pattern is trending drier. There's a lag time, and we will be talking about weather-related issues well beyond this wet pattern wrapping up. We're getting a temporary break right now, but as Tina said, there's more rain coming later on today. So please enjoy the break while we have it. We do have it right now. Burbank, 48 degrees, mostly cloudy. You'll get some sunshine this morning. We will begin to go cloudy. Your hour-by-hour metro forecast. These temperatures aren't warming up. This is cold air for us, 17 degrees colder than average. We stay at 53 into the afternoon with mostly cloudy skies, more snowfall. So those locations that don't want any more snow, are going to get another 6 to 24 inches of snow above 4,000 feet in elevation tonight. There is a new winter storm warning in effect through tomorrow morning. A wind advisory is in effect for Orange County. Certainly don't want any more trees or power lines down, up to 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. And there is a high wind warning in effect for the Antelope Valley. Winds there could hit 50 to 70 miles per hour tonight. Once we get past this storm, we will see calmer weather, but we need a break. Who would have thought we have too much snow?
You need a break, don't you, Paul?
Yeah. You know what? This is our job to talk about. I could use a coffee break.
How about a coffee break? Yes.
Perfect timing.
Right?
The answer is yes.
All right. Well, we're starting with why some college professors feel they have to bite their tongue now in class.
Which might hurt.
Yeah. Well, you're probably familiar with cancel culture, of course. That's what happens these days when someone faces backlash for doing or saying something offensive or controversial. So a new poll now has found that more than half of college professors are holding back on what they share because they're scared of getting canceled. This isn't because they mean to say something controversial, but because they're worried about saying something that students will take out of context or that something from their past will come up online. This fear is higher among conservative faculty. Nearly 3/4 of the ones surveyed expressed concern. This issue also extends to professors' lives off campus. 1/3 of them say they feel they can't express any opinions, mainly on social media, because they don't know how students, colleagues, or their administrations will take it if they see them. And I just think this is interesting in the college campus context, right? Because this is a really important place to hear views different than your own, right? It's a place where you discuss ideas, no matter how controversial. You bring in controversial speakers, and that's how you kind of like learn and discuss topics.
Absolutely.
It's supposed to open your mind, right? You're supposed to get away from home, go to college, learn new things. I do think, it can be, you have a lot of people though in the room that have various levels of emotional intelligence and maturity levels and different things that if they're worried about taking it out of context, I can understand that for sure.
I think that's bleeding into the other workplaces too. People just want to be overly careful with everything they say, so they don't do that. Yeah.
Everybody's got their bubble now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. That's not very
here,
fun though, you know?
Yeah, sorry.
The pandemic made a lot of people reevaluate how much time they spend on the job. I know we talk about this in terms of work weeks and that kind of thing. But after many got to cut commutes out of their day when they went remote, a new survey went into effect, putting this change of mentality then into context. So researchers both in the US and UK found that more than 60% of people are prioritizing work-life balance over pay. They said they'd rather have the balance and not a raise. Now that technology can easily make work bleed into people's personal time, they say the new work-life balance is more focused on blending your work and personal lives in a healthy way. So just like you might answer a work email or call while at home, I mean, how often does that happen? You can also...
Never.
Never. Well, employees are saying, hey, I should also be able to take care of some personal matters while in working hours. Because if I'm going to do this for you, you need to do this for me. And I mean, I feel like that's just... Like employers need to know, like we all want to be adults. Doesn't everybody want to act like an adult in the room? I'll do with my time and I will be productive for you. But I also still have laundry and we got to cook dinner and we got to get the homework done and you got to, all these other things.
I feel like it falls into micromanagers, right? If you always have someone hovering over you, you're going to constantly feel like you can't do anything. But if someone trusts you as a worker, as an employee, then you can have this balance.
Well, and what is an 8-hour day anymore? Because if you get like 4 phone calls in a row that are all, 20 minutes a piece, do I get to count that in the chunk of time that I was supposed to be sitting in the office? Or is it just extra?
It's an interesting blend, right? Because you're always working and maybe never working according to the employers, but you're also always working. You don't have like a designated time.
And the balance never happens. You're just trying to do the best you can. Some days it's like I'm way out of whack. Some days it's like I think I figured it out until tomorrow.
And some days I just need a nap.
And some days you just got to sleep, right?
Naps are so great.
Some days you just have to eat cake.
This
story is about cake,
Let them eat
folks.
cake.
All right, if you're a parent, you know all too well the struggle of finding the balance again. Balance not just for what you eat, but what you give your kids as well. And while lots of doctors and pediatricians recommend keeping your kids away from sweets and other processed foods, now there's a new study that says you should do the opposite.
What?
Insert confusion.
Yes.
That's because giving your kids access to all types of food, French fries, cake, ice cream, candy included, it helps them learn how to listen to their bodies.
I don't believe this at all.
My kids would say more chicken fingers.
Exactly.
Researchers think kids who are on restrictive diets often don't develop the ability to recognize hunger or the feeling of being full, mostly because kids will likely find a way to eat dessert anyway, often when they're not even hungry. The research says if these behaviors go on for long enough, they can lead kids to develop unhealthy eating habits or even eating disorders as adults. That's a tough one.
This kind of makes sense to me because any type of really restrictive, rules and behavior
beyond food
can backfire.
But have any of these researchers taken children out to eat to see what they would pick?
Take them to Red Robin. They're going for the bottomless fries.
Exactly, and the milkshake.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're not going for the broccoli and,
But I will say, just anecdotally, my friends when I was a kid who had sugar and cake and sweets and candy around in the house, they didn't go for it the same way that I went for it.
You thought it was the party house.
Yeah.
Let's go to Tommy's again.
Any dietitian will tell you, even as an adult, like, you don't want to be the person who goes to the birthday party and is like, I can't eat that, because you're just gonna, eventually, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. And also, culturally, we set up these periods of time to eat birthday cake because it's a ritual.
Right.
So,
Eat cake.
Eat cake. That's the moral of the story.
Eat the cake for debate. Eat it all you want. Let's talk about fashion, shall we?
I don't know about this one.
I know. I picked this just to see the look on your faces. So celebrities have been,
something looks missing.
That's what I'm wearing tomorrow.
doing this trend. I was going to say.
I mean, you are cutting edge of fashion.
Stop what you're doing and look at the screen so you see what we're talking about. This is getting a lot of attention. So a lot of these celebrities, instead of showing up in a big flashy dress or crazy accessories, they're just leaving the pants at home. Take a look. Camila Mendes from Riverdale, she's the latest one to do it. Kylie Jenner also did this, wearing tidy whities.
Oh, well, Kylie Jenner's doing it.
Kendall Jenner also was pictured running some errands with, underwear and then the tights. So apparently this is a thing.
What if you like going commando?
Maybe
Did you just go there?
That's in next week's coffee break.
Yeah, seriously. I don't think the three of us are going to do
NC-17
this at all,
version of the
but
Kcal
hey,
News.
seriously.
Trends, they come and go.
They do.
Pants, they come and go.
That's today's coffee break. Thank you for bringing us those amazing images. Snapchat is launching Chatbot, powered by artificial intelligence. How does it work?
Plus, Pokemon Sleep is here. The name of the game, the longer you sleep, the higher the score.
That's genius.
I
That's
love
parenting.
that. Yes, that's fantastic. Bring it to my house. CNET's Ian Shearer will join us live to break it down. Hi, guys.
They have pants on.
Well, we've been talking about President Biden's plan to forgive student loans and how this would be a big a topic of conversation today at the Supreme Court. And we are just learning that conservative justices are really pressing in and being skeptical. They're giving lots of questions to the administration's plan to wipe away or reduce student loans held by millions of Americans. Turns out Chief Justice John Roberts, who is conservative but has often been kind of somebody who is a swing vote in some of these cases where maybe it's leaning more conservative, is really the one grilling in on this plan to forgive more than $400 billion in student loans, arguing that only Congress could approve such a large amount of federal spending, not the president. And that's kind of what this all boils down to, is that the president used an executive order to be able to do this. So they're taking a look at that, but it does sound right now that many of the comments that Chief Justice Roberts said were echoed by his conservative colleagues, most of whom sounded ready to rule. However, normally this takes a lot of time, but you get an idea of where their heads are at. We should have a final idea of where they rule in June.
Meantime, the mobile industry is meeting in Barcelona this week to discuss emerging technologies, and Pokemon Sleep is finally waking up. What does this all mean? Ian Shearer from CNET is here with all the details. Welcome back. Good morning to you. First, tell me about Pokemon Sleep. What is this? Are we actually competing for sleep now?
Apparently. So this is part of Pokemon Go. You may remember it came out back in 2016. It was a huge success. This game where you walk around in the real world, you look at your phone, and through the camera, you're able to see all of these Pokemon, which are kind of monsters that are cartoons that you can then capture. And what they've done is, since they've been growing it out a bunch, right? They've been having events and whatnot. And now they have this idea called Pokemon Sleep. By the way, for Pokemon fans, of course, the mascot is the Snorlax. That's the name of the Pokemon. But essentially what it'll do is track how you sleep. So you can put your phone next to your pillow, or you can also get this little Pokeball that's like $55 that sits next to your pillow, and it'll actually tell how long you've been sleeping. It'll give you kind of a sleep type. So if you're restless or something, and then different Pokemon, of course, will come over to you in the game while you're sleeping depending on how you sleep.
These things are always interesting to me because I always know if I didn't sleep well or if I woke up in the middle of the night. But moving on, next, the Mobile World Congress is happening this week in Barcelona. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this is usually when we get a lot of looks at interesting phones, right? It's not when we get the new iPhone or when we get the new Samsungs, but it's kind of the event for a lot of other companies. And so one of the things that we saw were some very interesting concept phones. One of them actually came from a company that's now making Nokia phones. They have the brand for that. They're able to actually, they're selling phones, they're hoping to, that will be easy to repair, right? You'll be able to actually repair the screen or the battery super easy. And this is, of course, something that kind of is coming full circle, right? You remember like 15 years ago, you could replace the batteries really easy, but then the companies started tightening up the phones, making them more waterproof, and suddenly you couldn't change the batteries. Now it's becoming a trend again. Apple's doing it, Google's doing it, and now even we see Nokia with the lower end phones is doing it as well.
Okay, and lastly, we have about 30 seconds. Tell us about Snapchat. It's launching its own ChatGPT powered AI chatbot. I don't even know what that means.
It's a lot of words together, right? So essentially what it is it's technology has become very popular that allows you to do all sorts of stuff. Like you can ask it to write a poem. You can ask it to help you plan a trip with friends. And it's kind of believed to be the next step in how we use the internet. It's very kind of weird, but we actually have a list of really great ways you can use this stuff on CNET to help you kind of get a try for it. Even if you don't have Snapchat, it works on other stuff too.
Yeah, I guess we all need to understand it at some point because the future is here. Ian Scher, thank you so much for joining us as always. Good to see you. And you can find more information about CNET by going to kcalnews.com and clicking Seen on TV. Now let's head over to Amy Johnson to see what's coming up on the 10 at 10. Hi, Amy.
Good morning, Ruta Bay. Here are some of the stories that we're tracking for you this morning. It's the largest expansion of veterans benefits in history. We've got details on the new law that could help millions get the care they need. Plus, breaking news in Beverly Crest homes evacuated and Mulholland Drive closed as firefighters assess the damage from this debris flow. We'll have those stories and so much more when we see you in just about 10 minutes for the 10 at 10.
Welcome back. Taking a live look at the Eagle's Nest in Big Bear, Eagle Cam, Jackie and Shadow, and their beautiful view. Well, this might be a few months early, but we are going to list the best beaches in the United States. And spoiler alert, unfortunately, none of them are local.
What?
According to TripAdvisor.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, let's just kill this right now.
Yeah, done.
According to TripAdvisor, number 5 and 4 are both in Hawaii. Number 5 is Ho'okipia Beach. Number 4 is Hanalei Beach. 3 is Driftwood Beach, which is on Jekyll Island in Georgia.
That's pretty.
One of the sea islands right off the coast of the Peachtree State. And number 2 is Siesta Beach in Siesta Key, Florida.
Been there. It's pretty.
Number 1 is Ka'anapali Beach in Maui, Hawaii. And the top California beach is Coronado Beach. But we're not revealing what number it is because it didn't make the top 5 list. Number 9.
I don't believe it.
All right, time now for the answer to Stump the Studio. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, Kalina, about the beaches.
Yeah, I know. Coronado is pretty, but
Yeah.
that's just a surprise.
You right?
Let's talk about this. It's just disappointing. California coast is beautiful. On this day in 1983, the final episode of What Show aired and made history. This whole entire studio was talking about this, so we got to shout out Kathy, our producer, because she came up with this question. A, Happy Days, B, MASH, C, Taxi, or D, The Odd Couple.
So, like, Nick at Night really screwed things up for me
Yeah,
because I
'cause of the
feel like
reruns.
it's like, when did I see that? When did it air? So I'm going, Fernando, I'm going to go with your choice. I'm going with MASH.
Okay.
I'm going to go
Ruby?
with Taxi.
Okay, drum roll, please. Jamie,
got it.
it.
No, Fernando. I can't take any credit because I was arguing with him about it, going, I don't think so. So
You're
no,
confused
it's all
about
Fernando.
the reruns.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Right, the
Apparently, the final episode brought in 105.97 million total viewers, and it still stands as the most watched finale of any TV series.
Can we get Fernando a prize?
Can Fernando come in? Where is he? Oh, there
Fernando,
he is.
where are you?
Wait a
He's
minute.
hiding.
Come over here.
Fernando,
Run. We're running out of time. Come on.
You get an
Way
out
to
of
go.
That's
play.
Fernando.
Get
You're
an
not
out of
even
play.
We just saw his hand.
Oh, come on.
Come back here.
Pick
Come
a
back
spot.
here.
There he is. You just
Come
ran
over.
through.
Fernando.
There he
Way to
is.
go. High five.
Okay.
Laura. Thanks for watching.
amazing. Kcal News Mornings at 9.
We got a good studio.
We'll be here with local updates throughout the day.